Hi guys, my name's Shiels down here at Trafford Golf Centre in Manchester, and today we're going to be doing a head-to-head. The new Ping G30 is going to battle against the slightly older G25, so it's not been out long, but it's already got a new one. Well, to be fair, it's probably been out a year. But we've got a couple of little bit of differences between these two golf clubs. So on paper, there should be a difference. There should be, because of the difference in the lofts and where the centre of gravity is moved, etc, etc. I've got this in 7, 5 and 9 iron, so I'm going to be testing each one of them head to head against the other one. There's a couple of little differences between the golf clubs. Cosmetically, not a great deal. They're kind of saying that the new one's a little bit slimmer. I'm struggling to see that. It has definitely got a little bit more offset, the new G30 compared to the G25. That's noticeable. And the new G30 has just got that slightly darker finish again. So if I was to set these two behind the golf ball, I can see that the G30 is definitely the one that's got the darker head to it. I just have to check, but it has got the darker head to it. Now, what the G30 are claiming, that they've moved the centre of gravity down and back. You can check out my independent review of the G30 in the window up here. I did that completely separate to this challenge. So they've moved the centre of gravity down and back, and they've changed the loft structure slightly on the G30 compared to the G25. So on a 7 iron, there's a 1.5 degree difference in favour of the G30. So this is 30.5, where the G25 is 32 degrees of loft for the 7 iron. That gets a little bit stronger with the 5 iron, so there's a 2 degree difference. The new 5 iron is 24 degrees, where the old one used to be 26. But the 9 irons are completely the same loft. So they're both 40 degrees. So we're going to hit some shots with real golf balls down here on GC2 and kind of show you which of these two golf clubs are going a little bit further, if any. Which one? I don't think there's going to be much difference in ease of hit. I really, really don't. The only thing that the G30 might just have on its side is that centre of gravity low and back. Might just make that ball go a little bit higher. But with the extra bit of de-lofting, it should be an even battle, but on paper the G30 should still slightly go further. So let's test that theory out. I'm going to hit 7 irons first, then move on to the 5s, then move on to the 9s. A little bit of a different grip, so the new grip's not got the ping symbol on, which I quite like actually, I'll be honest with you. I like the ping symbol being on. It gives us a point of reference on the grip. They've got a couple of lines on the new one, but the reason why they've brought that one out is to sit in line with the G30 driver. Because it's got an adjustable neck now, they wanted a grip that didn't have a reminder on at all, and also one that would look completely different in any way that you turn it. So that kind of makes sense. Other manufacturers have gone down that route also. Right. So 799 would normally hit near to 170. So let's see what this 7.9 does. This is the G25 first. Like I say, I think the offset is just the only noticeable thing from the top. You can't really see the 1.5 degree difference in loft, not at all. It's a definite lower ball flight, considering I've just been hitting the G30s. Felt nice though. 174. Good clout, good hit. And it's actually only travelled less than a yard offline. I like it. That was nice. The definite not as high. So the peak height of that was 42 yards up in the air. So we're going to see if this changes that. So this is now the G30. Even though it's got less loft, because that centre of gravity down and back, it should go launch it a little bit higher. Let's see if that theory is true. It's definitely a different ball flight. It's not quite as high actually, but it has gone further. Now it was only 6 yards offline, so we would class that as being a relatively straight shot still. It's gone 181 yards. 181. So I'm going to take the averages of these shots anyway, but definitely G30. I'm surprised with that. So maybe I was slightly wrong with the launch angle. Yeah, the launch angle was about the same. In fact, the G30 was a little bit lower. So we'll see. That was only one shot. Let's test it. Let's hit another one. Let's go G25 again. So easy to hit both of these two golf clubs. Not as far that time. Interestingly, 162. Quite a drop off in distance, and I felt like I hit that nicely as well. By the way, I've got both of these two in the stock steel stiff shafts as well, so they're in exactly the same shafts. Right, G30 again. Well, that was nice. 181 again. Only a little bit offline. Again, less than 10 yards, so it's still an accurate shot. 181 again, big hit. Right, so far the G30 is absolutely smashing the G25 out of the park, surprisingly. It's interesting that my first predictions of the ball should be going higher. I don't know whether it's visually different. It's actually not going any higher. It's about the same height. So that's interesting because I would expect the bit to be a little bit of a difference in height. Right, G25. That one was nice. Okay, it's just come to the party. 182. Now, whether that's just telling us that the G25 is not quite as consistently long, potentially. I mean, I felt like I've hit all those pretty much solid. Only 3 yards off target as well. Right, one more for the G30. Now, at the moment, the summary of what the data is giving out there is that there's very little difference in the maximum distance these two golf clubs can hit. About the 180 mark, which is big for a 7-iron. You know, I'm, like I say, normally about 170. So, the only thing that's going to be separating these two is consistency of distance. So let's go G30 one more time. It's gorgeous, really nice flight. Yeah, 182. So the G30 has actually hit 181, 181, 182. It's big, very big. Where the G25 definitely hit, I mean, longest one was 182 as well, so it matched up with the distance. But it just hit a couple of scrappy ones, 174, still long, and a 162, which is quite short. So whether the consistency level on the G25 is not as good as the G30, but in relation to height, loft, everything else, it's very accurate, very similar, which is interesting because I kind of thought there was going to be a little bit more of a difference between those two, but for consistently longer, so far the G30 is just pipping that. Right, so that's the 7-iron. So just to remind you, that was a 1.5 degree of difference in loft in favour of the G30. So it's a little bit stronger. Right, the 5-irons though. Now I've just done a test with the G30 and the 5-iron was pretty powerful. So we're going to compare it against the G25. So now there's a 2 degree difference in loft between these two. We've got 24, we've got 26. So that's going to be interesting to see if there's much of a difference then between these two. I'm going to go G25 first. Let's see what this does. So I would say no, about 190. 5-iron around that mark. Let's see what this G25 does. Now that was interesting. That wasn't middled. Wasn't crushed right in the centre, but still travelled 195 yards. So still a good solid connection, good solid hit. Or solid distance, should we say, considering that wasn't middled. So for the consistency factor, that's pretty good. Let's go G25. Sorry, G30, apologise. Just a little bit off the bottom. 199 yards though. So considering that was just a fraction off the bottom, it's gone a little bit wider there. It's not been quite as accurate, where on the 7-irons I would say both of the G25 and G30 was just as accurate as each other. So the G30 is currently just pipping it, only by 4 yards. Oh, that felt good. 198. So that's the G25 hitting at 198 yards. By the way, guys, these are all carry distances. The reason why I can say it so quickly before the ball lands is because the GC2 gives that data almost immediately. It measures what the golf ball does. Right, let's go G30. Now I know what this club is capable of doing, and that's not it. That's not it. That was a horrible strike. That was right off the bottom of the golf club completely my fault. I'm going to hit another one because of that. That was better. Somewhere nearer to the other strikes to keep it consistent. 201 yards of carry distance. That's an awesome hit again with the G30. Now, interestingly, the height has changed slightly. There's definitely a difference in the G30 height compared to the G25, so that's interesting. Right, one more with the G25. $200 yards on the nose. It's a little bit further to the right, hitting these a little bit right and left, but 200 yards bang on the nose. So it's just, again, just highlighting the consistency factor and the ease of hit for a longer golf club. Certainly if you're a golfer that's maybe replaced the hybrid long iron now with a hybrid, it might be worth trying one of the pin clubs, certainly the G30, because of the advantage of high launch with the low loft. You're hitting a 5 iron, but really you're hitting a 4 iron, in theory. Right, let's go one more with the G30. That felt good. 201 yards of carry distance again. So I'm going to look at the average of those three, because I think there's going to be a definite favouring of the G30, which on paper this should be, because it's got less loft again. You know, that makes sense. I'd be surprised if there was much of a difference. Right, last club, 9 iron. I'm only going to hit kind of one or two of these because these are the same loft, so I don't see any difference of these two golf clubs whatsoever, apart from the slight difference in the offset. So this is the G25 first. About 145, 150 would be my mark. 144. It's pretty bob on, and exactly down target line. One more with the 9. Yeah, 143. So no difference like that. This is more of a token, just to highlight that the differences in distance will come mainly from the longer golf clubs rather than the shorter. Let's go G30. .143, exactly what I expect. I don't see any difference between these two golf clubs whatsoever, apart from the number at the bottom, as in the G25 or G30. Yeah, no difference over there, those at all. You know, could hit those all day and there'd be no separation. Right, so guys, if we look at some of the data and we can kind of summarise some of that information up, is that so the G30 does hit it on a slightly more consistent basis, but is there going to be enough evidence to make you guys look at changing compared to G25? I'm not too sure, but I'm going to put that in your hands now. That's the information I've received from this golf club. The G30 does go longer. It's slightly more accurate and consistent with the numbers as well. But to separate these two golf clubs is not a great deal. Even on paper, I would say there'd be a little bit more. Guys, do go and try them yourselves. I always recommend that. I'm just trying to showcase and tell you what the products are. I want you then to go and test them to suit your game. You know, that's the big thing. It's not me. You've got to get custom fit with ping as well. It's really key. You know, you've got to go and get the right chart and the right length and everything else. So go, well, at every club, but certainly with the ping stuff. You can check out my channel by clicking and subscribing to the link down below. You can check out my next video just here. And guys, that was my little head-to-head between the new G30 against the G25. Not much in it, but it could change your game for the better. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you all soon.